Scholars used to think that the cities of the ancient Maya were largely empty, mostly used as ceremonial centers on certain holidays, inhabited only by the ruling elites and priestly classes. And that makes sense given the way that they found these places. Overgrown, forlorn, abandoned, in ruins. But not all of the cities were abandoned. In fact, some of them have been continuously inhabited for thousands of years.
Here in Acanceh, there are 2 pyramids still left in the town.
Actually, there are 3 pyramids. And it's actually pronounced Acanceh, which means the cry of the deer.
As you can see, it's got the typical smooth faces of the Peten region. From the Peten Basin in Guatemala, this pyramid dates to the pre-classic period. It's at least 2,000 years old, parts of it, though it's been built up over time. And it seems that people were living there and in this city, most likely continually, through till today. Behind this pyramid, there's another courtyard, and you can see that there's a structure suspiciously built out of stones nearby. But there's another pyramid behind this pyramid, as often there are. It's not known what these pyramids were for originally. Unfortunately, they've been badly deteriorated. But there's one on the other side of town that has a lot of artwork, stuccos, carvings, in 3-dimensional bas reliefs of various animals, including a squirrel, which I haven't heard of, but I think also birds, snakes, that sort of thing. But what's interesting is that the artwork is in the style of Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan being located all the way near Mexico City, very far away. I have a video about that if you'd like to learn more about it. It's a very interesting place, but a very powerful empire in its day. Hey kitty. Hola. Okay. A very powerful empire in its day, and its influence also stretched here. And so this was a quite a multicultural hub of the world. People coming from Teotihuacan, probably often by boat along the coast, past the Veracruz, the Olmec heartland, and from Peten through the jungle. Wow. Quite a good view from up here. From up here you can see some of the remains of other structures, as well as various stone walls all around that were probably built with stones taken from this pyramid. You can see that this little chapel is on an elevated platform that's higher than the ground here. Well, I just realized another reason to build pyramids, if there weren't enough already. But down at a low elevation, it's very muggy and very oppressive, even, the heat. But up here there's a nice cool breeze, so if it's too hot, just build yourself a pyramid to cool off. Let's check out those stucco carvings. It's amazing that this stucco is so well preserved. This would be from the last phase of the pyramid's construction, which I believe was still around the late Classic. You can see that the noses and ears weren't preserved very well. Unlike the temple of the stucco facade, which is a different temple in this town that also has a stucco facade. This one is very classically Mayan artwork. Here you can see what the stairs would have looked like. Very smooth, very slippery, I imagine, especially when it's raining. This would have been preserved underneath an outer layer. So what we're looking at here, you see there's stairs and this stucco that was from an older version of this pyramid, and later on they decided to expand it and they added a lot of rocks on top, and this would have all been covered up, and eventually they removed it, and that's why we can see the stucco so magnificently well preserved today under this roof. Here you can see they put stones in place to create the general shape of the face, and then it was covered in stucco and painted. And here you can see some of the original paint even there's like a little bit of a pattern right there.
I then began to look for the astronomical observatory, which was on the east side of town. I was assisted by a caretaker named Mario, who worked with the archaeological team that excavated the site in 1996. Mario explained to me that this building used to be an observatory for the sun on certain days of the year, known as solar zeniths. On those days, a shaft of light would enter through the top of the dome and illuminate some object in the center, perfectly from above, causing it to not cast a shadow. Tracking the solar zenith is one of the ways that the inhabitants of Acanceh knew when to plant crops and celebrate certain holidays. Then Mario took me to a small warehouse from the archaeological dig and showed me some of the artifacts from that time.
And some specifically shaped stones. Okay, here we have the Temple of the Stuccos. So this is the older structure, and then later on they added to it and they created a room here, and just general a lot of stuff around it. Be careful not to step on a snake. There's some sort of... You can see an older structure in here, and you can see some of the original stairs that still have the original stucco on it, just like on the other pyramid. Uxmal Puuk construction type on the older level of the structure. We're now like 3 stories up, I think. Much taller than I originally thought. And there's some building over here that's left of it. You can still see some of the original stucco on the walls. Very rare in the Yucatan that any of this is preserved. Even see some of the original paint that would have been a bright red. It's now faded to this washed out orangish yellow color. That's quite a big room, actually. There would have been an arched roof there. Nothing left of that. Here there's the restoration line. This marks where the original stone was, and in some places it's been restored, and that's this line indicates that. That's a dead end. That's a house, someone's house. I think if I go this way, there's the nice rounded edge of the first phase of construction in the style of Uxmal. Over here we have something very special, but looks like I have to go around. Oh yeah! Here you can see that this was a room. On this side there was a wall, and the pyramid continues. There's more platforms up there. There probably would have been rooms up there as well. But here we have this wall is an inner wall. So this would have been decorating a room. This is fairly wide for a Mayan room of the early classic period, which is when the inner older pyramid dates from. And this is in the style of Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan was popping off in the 4th century. That's when they became an influential power in the Maya world. And this seems to date from that time and may have been made by artists from Teotihuacan all the way in central Mexico. It's some 1,000 kilometers from here. You can see it's protected by a roof. Some murals, and they're in stucco, and they would have been painted, but they're in the style of Teotihuacan. And I think these are some animals, and they're all within hills, and hills often indicate the name of a place. So this could be connections to other cities that have a name, like that means something in Nahuatl, the language of central Mexico, that may have been spoken in Teotihuacan, or maybe in the language of the Zapotecs. We don't really know what language they spoke in Teotihuacan, but in their language, they have a lot of places that are named after hills, and this could be the hill of whoever this is, or the animal. Some other animals here, and some other glyphs there. I think that is a hummingbird, and I'm not sure what that is. It looks like a ship. I think it's actually, this is a Mayan glyph with some very small features in there. And here are also some figures, very well preserved, and decorative elements on top. There could also be some sort of glyphic writing. And here as well, and some more shapes. Down here we also see there's a bit of the stucco left on this level, and a shield, I think, or a decorative element. Very nice wall here, very smooth, flat stones. And there's the back of the pyramid, some kind of tree growing on top of it. This would have been a complex for visiting dignitaries from Uxmal who would come here and they would stay here. So it was a sort of a palace for visiting rulers of the major large city nearby. Although this site is quite large itself, there's a city built over most of it these days, but in a 3-kilometer radius around here, there's a modern city, but underneath it and scattered throughout, there are some 400 pyramidal foundations of old buildings that used to be here. This city of Acanceh means the cry of the deer. When they came and founded the modern city here, they found a deer with a spear in it. It was weeping from pain. They decided to name the city after that. Looks like there were possibly some doors here before that were later on filled in. It looks like that room was walled up at some point. Would have been rooms and other elements of this vast palatial structure. As you can see, a lot of it's been taken away, used to build more modern buildings, and otherwise just abandoned to nature. And there's rooms all around here, so this would have been quite a large site with a lot of people in it back in its heyday. And it even goes that way, though you can't really see what's underneath all of this jungle here. What a grand structure. Oh, and a very large lintel stone down there. Now, this would have been a very, very large room that's underneath me. Some 7 meters tall at least. 20 feet maybe, because this would have been an arch. I'm actually standing on the roof. I don't know how stable this is, so I won't stay here long, but you can see that there's a very large doorway with a very, very large megalithic lintel stones there, and a very tall, wide ceiling, and a very large room. So this would have been also an important room, maybe where the officials from Uxmal would live or feast or do administrative work. It could have been their office. And up here we have the peak. And more rooms as well over here. Although this is all restored. Some of this is original. Yeah. Here the pyramid continues. And you can see that it's just that's someone's yard. There's laundry hanging on the line there, and the wall of the pyramid pretty much goes into that person's backyard. And you can see the stones that used to be part of the structure are used to build fences and walls here in Acanceh nowadays.
All right, that's it from Acanceh, just to the southeast of Merida, in the state of Yucatan.